Hey everybody, I'm Brad Palumbo, and you're watching Brad Reacts on Right Now, a series where we react to and debunk the craziest and cringiest political content that's going viral on social media. Now today we're talking about climate change, which absolutely is a real issue, but one international poll found that 56% of young people believe that it is going to be the doom of humanity. So today we're taking a look at some TikToks spreading this kind of climate alarmism. Producer Zeke, let's roll the first one.
We're killing the earth, and that's really fun. No one believes us because we are young. Our forests are turning to ash in a second. Ask California, they'll tell you about it. They'll tell you how they have lost all their homes while Trump turns a blind eye and tweets on his phone. Global warming's an expensive little hoax for the last time. This is not a joke. Our factories are working and toxins emitting. The ozone is crumbling and we won't stop putting chemicals in what we're trying to breathe. Our future is stolen and we are the thieves. Sea levels are rising and icebergs are melting. The coral reefs are dying and no one is helping. Do you realize they keep the oceans alive? This started back in 1985. Don't come to me when your child can't think of what a tiger is because they're extinct. Don't cry to me when your fur coat ain't clean. The endangered list is now 41,416. Dear 2045, I don't think we're gonna survive. If you end up hearing this story, I just want to say, I'm sorry.
So that was a lot. You might remember Ukulele Girl from our gun control video. She does a lot of this like little, I don't know if it's a ukulele or a banjo or whatever. I'm not very musically inclined, to be honest. But she does a lot of these videos with these very depressing political messages, and she has millions and millions of viewers on them. The first thing I would say about this one is it's just wrong from the beginning. California has had a lot of wildfires, but actually that has a lot more to do with poor wildfire management policies than it does with climate change. In recent years, they've specifically limited controlled burns that help them reduce the spread of wildfire. So that has a lot more practical explanation than just the entire world is burning. I also have to talk about this, the idea that like by 2045 there won't be anything left and we're all going to be gone and I mean, no. Even the most alarmed climate scientists don't project any scenario in which humanity is wiped off the face of the earth. There will be real challenges if we don't do stuff to address climate change, but that kind of hysteria just scares people and doesn't serve anyone. And that's why I find the point she makes in the video ironic. Why is nobody listening to us just because you're young? Like, no, sweetie, it's not because you're young. It's because you're hysterical and you're ranting about things that have no basis in reality. That's why people aren't listening. All right, producer Zeke, what do we got next?
Girl in a straw hat with her arms out in a cornfield. That is a scarecrow.
That's like a common sound or something they use, the scarecrow thing, and I still don't quite get it. But the point about natural disasters is one you'll see all the time, and it's worth clarifying. Absolutely, it's true that in the big picture, climate change increases the number of natural disasters that you will have. And we have seen more by some counts in recent years, but that's not necessarily, you can't see one bad storm or bad fire or bad drought and blame it on climate change. That's not scientific. And also the increase is partly due to our increased ability to report, detect, and track natural disasters as well. More importantly, it's all is not doom and gloom on the natural disaster front, because at the same time that climate change has contributed to some natural disaster increases, we've also become much better at adapting to, responding, and surviving them. So according to humanprogress.org, climate-related deaths from droughts and fires and storms and hurricanes and all that have decreased by 99% since the year 1920. So when you see stuff like this and they're just trying to convince you that the world is burning and hurricanes are going to destroy us all, take a deep breath, chill out, and keep scrolling. Producer Zeke, what do we got next?
If you didn't already know, the IPCC report dropped today, and it basically confirmed everything we already knew. Humans are causing climate change. CO2 concentrations are higher than they've been in the last 2 million years. Surface temperatures are increasing at a faster rate than ever before. Arctic sea ice are reaching its lowest levels. Same thing goes for sea level rise. It's virtually certain that hot extremes are more frequent and more intense than they've been since the 1950s. Same thing goes for heavy precipitation. Most people support bold climate action. And yet governments around the world refuse to make the change that we need to survive. We will see some of the worst effects of climate change in our lifetime if we do not deal with this right now.
So this is an interesting one. This is referencing the IPCC, which is a United Nations body that issues these big climate change reports. And the first thing I note is that, yeah, absolutely, it has some alarming findings, but it also models a number of different scenarios and not just all terrible outcomes, because there's a lot of uncertainty about what exactly is going to happen. And a lot of the doomsday level predictions that we've made about in the past in climate change, think Al Gore's documentary, An Inconvenient Truth, a lot of the predictions haven't come true or didn't end up being as bad as we once thought. So take it with a grain of salt, also because Al Gore himself has admitted that the IPCC is not a neutral scientific body. It is a political body, and they are pushing for more climate policy, so it's not a totally objective analysis. That's not to say it's not worth taking seriously, and it is, but what bothers me about these kinds of videos is that just hand-waving about bold climate action. What does that mean? What are the trade-offs? What will that do to the economy and people's livelihoods? These are the conversations we have to have. And also, you can say that we support bold climate action, and even Republicans do, and that might be true, depending on what policies we're talking about, but it doesn't address the fact that unless you get India and China on board, the US could stop all its emissions tomorrow and barely make a difference. I mean, this is a global problem with coordination issues beyond the scope of anyone to just wave about bold action and demand it now on TikTok and solve. So I wish there was more consideration given to the trade-offs and downsides of some of this bold action, because it really isn't the solution, the simple solution they make it out to be. Producer Zeke, I know we got one more.
To me, girl, not to be dramatic, but I wanna die. This got me paying a rent, paying for trips, diamonds on her neck, diamonds on her wrist, and here I am all alone.
I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna steal that one and say, I don't wanna be dramatic, but, and then tell my boyfriend the most dramatic thing I could possibly think of. But hang on, sis. The world is not dying. Take a chill pill, maybe see a therapist, get some Xanax, because we're all gonna be all right. But I do have to talk about this because the Democrats are not exactly great on climate change, honey. I mean, they control all three branches of the government right now, and what are they doing to really address climate change other than a bunch of big government welfare schemes and corporate welfare that's really not gonna make much of a difference in emissions at all? Do Republicans deny the issue? Sure, many do, and that's dumb, that's wrong. But also, Democrats deny nuclear power, which is literally an emissions-free, inexpensive, and safe form of power that we could switch to tomorrow if we wanted to really reduce emissions. And as long as they continue to deny that, they're not very good on this issue either, sis. That's the thing. Republicans should not deny the issue, but there are some in Congress who take it seriously, so it's not the slam dunk partisan thing that you think it is, TikTok. So you will have to do better than that. But producer Zeke, that's about all the cringe climate alarmist TikTok I can handle in one day before my blood boils over. So if you enjoyed this video, thanks for joining us today, and make sure that you leave a like and a comment below. I'm interested to hear what you think about these climate change TikToks. And be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell notifications so that you can join us next time on Brad Reacts.